This is the 2024 Brewtubers Online Brewers Club Beer Experiment, Fruited American Wheat. Thanks to our sponsors. 5 Star Chemicals. Check out the interactive cleaning guides and learn more about their newest product, Liquid PBW, on their official website, www.5starchemicals.com. Beer and Wine Hobby Homebrew Supply Store. Beer and Wine has one of the biggest yeast selections around and boasts an extensive list of homebrew beer kits to make clones of some of your favorite beers. Check them out at www.beer-wine.com and tell them Brewtubers sent you in the order comment box. Let's get sipping.
Hello, folks. This is Kurt from Fermentation Adventures. How about that Nick Lesagore with that great intro to this video series? If you're not sick of hearing it yet, just watch a few more videos. I'm kidding. Thanks to Nick for doing a great job with the intro, introducing the experiment, and thanking our sponsors, 5 Star Chemicals and Beer and Wine Hobby, for helping out us, our club, the Brewtubers. So, let's get this kicked off. Going to start with my beer, for the fruit experiment. My beer at the end of primary fermentation, I added 2.2 pounds or 1 kilogram of aseptic strawberry fruit puree that I purchased from them, which was about half of the container, half of the sack. And with that, I added 2 ounces of Amoretti wild strawberry natural flavor. All that went into the fermenter right at the end of primary fermentation. My idea, my approach, which I've heard, and it sort of made a lot of sense to me, you want to get some of the real fruit in there, or the puree, to add some of that fruit character and some of the just the overall fruit body, let's say, and the fruit matter. That's not all the sugar. The sugar is going to ferment out. We add in a little bit of a extract or a flavoring to spice things up. All right, so we put all of our strawberry stuff in the primary fermenter. It ferments out, and we hopefully get a nice strawberry character with the base beer, with both of them playing pretty well together. At least that was the hope. All right, so I called the beer Revontulet, which is a Finnish word for the Northern Lights. On the night I brewed this beer, we had the Northern Lights in Connecticut for first time that I can ever remember. So I tried to come up with something clever for the name of the beer to reference the Northern Lights, and I came up with that. What about some of the vitals on this? So it was brewed on 510, it was kegged on 614, canned on 712 after some nice conditioning time. I did try to carb it somewhat high, somewhat more appropriate for a wheat beer. So my apologies to my fellow brewers. My canner is due for some calibration. There was a little bit of leakage between, I guess, the canner probably being out of spec after not having adjusted it since I've gotten it, and probably doing 500-600 cans through the thing. And again, the higher carbonation, there's getting a little bit of leakage here and there. Yeah, so mine came in at 5.4% APV at 22 IBU with a OG of 1049, FG of 10009. So let's open this can. You can see here the label I have on it. I ran out of labels that I used to print the label up on. This is just on paper. Since I have my own beers in the fridge here, I don't print labels for the sake of printing labels. So let's see, get a little bit of water out of here. Let's pour it up here. We're somewhat aggressive. I can see that at least the pour looks somewhat clear. I am getting some settling in the can. I don't know if my bottle is going to be big enough for all of this in here. Let's see. So you can see some of the yeasties in here and a little bit of the foam. Yeah, that looks a bit better with a little bit of a haziness in here. So let's see. If I smell, so if I quickly run through the notes with this again, it roused up the yeast. It's a little bit hazy here now. It is mostly a, say, golden color-ish. a golden or a slight copper, slightly pale. I don't know if there's a little red tint to it or not. I smell it. If I smell it, I get a little bit of a, surprisingly, I do get a little bit of funkiness from it. I guess from the wheat yeast, which again, when it was fresher, I didn't really get a lot of that, I don't think. But now smelling it after letting it sit in the cans for a bit. Let me smell the can. Yeah, it's the same. There's a little bit of strawberry in here. Nothing too crazy. Um, yeah, I get some strawberry character. Let me see a little bit of funk. My nose doesn't feel too up too strong right now. Taking a sip. Yeah, definitely taste some of the strawberry through here, and again some of the underlying beer. Um, the body itself, the body of the beer, to me seems somewhat on the medium to lower. There's a bit of a body in here. There's a little bit of a, you know, it's not completely dry either. Um, but uh, but yeah, again, I like it. I guess there is a bit of a wheat character beer here. It's very, I would say very easy to drink, very easy drinking. Yeah, and again, in the retro nasal word of the day, I do get a little bit more of the strawberry coming out. Um, it is to me, it seems more of like a generic strawberry character. I think earlier on it did seem to be a little bit more pronounced, but again, it's still in there. I would say overall, not knowing the character of the strawberry puree and everything I was putting in there, this was kind of what I was going for. Again, it's very much wheat beer based, or like a let's say a light ale beer, very refreshing. I don't get as much of a wheat beer doughiness as I would kind of expect from a wheat beer. If I look at our recipe, there's definitely wheat in there, but it's only at 16%. So, there's definitely some wheat in here, but it's not a a huge amount like you can see in some wheat recipes. Yeah, and and there you have it. Again, it's a refreshing beer. Um, I think with this, it kind of plays pretty decent with the going with some puree and some extract. I do like putting things in um, at the primary, somewhere in the primary process, so the beer will ferment out and be more stable. So we don't have any sort of re-fermentation in the can and having the overall the overall character of the beer kind of running to get too dry or not be quite what I intended when it was in the keg. So kind of happy with that. And again, look at this. I think it's a pretty dang good looking beer for a wheat beer, especially when you rouse up that yeast. Um, yeah, and I look in there. I did get everything off the bottom. There's a nice little half finger persistent head that's going in here again, which is probably part and parcel of the wheat, higher protein, and again, maybe a higher carb, even though, I poured somewhat aggressively and it doesn't seem to be um, too much carbonation. I can't see bubbles, but again, the haze factor probably takes care of that. But yeah, like I said, yeah, in the first sniff, I was getting a little bit of a little bit of a funk nosy funkiness, but I don't really get any bubblegum aroma or any of the more phenolic flavors that you might expect for some of the for some from some wheat beers, notably the German varieties, the German yeasts. Yeah, it's it's refreshing. There's some strawberry in here. There's a bit of a bitter finish to clean the palate, and it's just easy to drink. And yeah, and I think that's all I really could say. Um, I think this is a good approach to go with some puree at the end of fermentation and some of the extract flavoring on top of it to kind of spruce things up. If you want more strawberry, you just add more strawberry puree. Again, and added at the end of primary. That's why I went with the aseptic product, kind of like the Oregon fruit. Their purees are I don't know if they're sterile or they're sanitized, but they're aseptic. They're not going to introduce bugs into your process. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks again to our sponsors. Be doing a bunch more of these, and you can watch the other folks in the club. They're going to be putting up reviews of my beer and a bunch of other beers that are coming through the process. And this is one down for me. Thank God. Thanks. Bye.